All right, Oren and I, let's do this. This is Queen of the Damned. This is a soundtrack. This is Chester Bennington, and the track is called System. All right. I already love this, just the way the bottom is so menacing. Ooh, I love the hi-hat work on this.
You fell away. What more can I say? The feelings evolved.
Ooh, spooky line. Nice melody there. Love that.
I can't replace your screaming face. Feeling the sickness inside. Why won't you die? Your blood in mine will be fine. Then your body will be mine.
I'm sorry, it's more than just me blabbering about the hi-hat work, but that's sticking out to me. That drummer's killing it. What a heavy, dark trance style. Not trance in the genre, trance meaning like, you know, you get into a trance. It's the tempo, but that meandering bottom kind of nemesing bass line. You know, it's almost in this arrangement. Oh shit, I just got chicken skin from even doing that. Almost in this arrangement, it is almost like the most demonic part of a conversation you might have in your head of literally still going, I'm coming to get you, no matter what you do, I'm coming here to, you know, that's what it feels like, that bass line, that bottom. And then when Chester comes in with his vocals, obviously it's recorded in a unique way, or they use perhaps a doubler. This is not to take away from him as a musician and a singer. You know that when I say that, I'm talking engineering. So there's a unique engineering they're doing on that. But also the subtleness, what really grabs me here is the subtleness of the, like I said, that menacing dark bottom. Then you have this dancing little, like false, kind of like it's okay bell melody that pops in and out. So it's fantastic how that is like very, and then that hook, man, his voice in that hook is just absolutely huge.
So many words can't describe my face. This feeling's evolved so soon to
God, I love that melody.
I can't relate to a happy state. Feeling the blood run inside. Why won't you die? Your blood in mine will be fine. Then your body will be mine.
I don't want to stop it.
Why is everything so fucking hard for me? Keep me down to what you think I should be.
This is a gnarly track, and I love every bit about it. It's just so it just it's like ripping a scab off, second level heaviness and pain. Also, you know, with the lyrics. Now, Or and I, was this track written for this movie, or was this from another? I don't know anything about it, so that's why I'm asking if this track was actually, for those of you who may know, if this was actually written for the movie or maybe taken from a project that didn't get released or something. This to me is probably one of the most visceral, heaviest tracks I've heard. I'd have to say this year. I've heard a shit ton of tracks and heaviness, but this one just oozes with just every bit of soul and pain and emotion, not only from Chester's performance, but just the composition and the heaviness, like I was saying earlier about the bottom end, and the tone of the guitars is just so. I think what I'm really pulled into by the tone of the guitars. It's so throaty and dark, and it's not squished into a tiny sound by virtue of wanting to extrapolate, let's say, the most cleanest possible way of engineering, that they just let the cabinets rattle with everything else. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's noise, and if you isolate tracks, sometimes you hear certain noises that have nothing to do with the musician playing the instrument so much that sometimes you hear some wood rattling of a cabinet. It just feels like a bone rattling kind of vibe for me. And also, real quick before I get back into this, any musicians here kind of like a Phrygian kind of a mode? I'm not sure. I'm not really good at that stuff, but for anybody who's a musician, is there kind of like a flex in and out of a Phrygian? It's bizarre.
Must you tempt me and provoke the ministry? Keep on trying, I'm not done so easily. Why is everything so fucking hard for me? Why is everything so fucking hard for me? Why won't you die? Your blood in mine will be fine.
Okay, I'm gonna bring it back a little bit. I'm freaking in love with this track, so bear with me while I kind of look under the hood here. Yes, I'm a sneak. Got your message. Thank you so much. The layers in the hook are just so bone crushing, along with the tones of the guitars. I think somebody else mentioned it here. I started feeling a little Deftones in it, and I think that's maybe why it may have kind of locked into my head. But something I was just listening to out of nowhere, all of a sudden going, why am I just noticing it? Did it just come in now? But do you hear a da 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 da, like a little padded string arrangement, if you would, that's back there, which even adds more emotional tug of war to the arrangement. You've got this just ball blasting, like, okay, I've said enough about that. And then all of a sudden, along with, remember I said earlier about the bell arrangements, this kind of like false hope that you'll get through this or not, whatever the lyrics mean. Listen to the back. There's this arrangement back there that's really, really super cool. And by the way, I agree with you. It doesn't sound Lydian. It is more of a Phrygian, but there's a couple things that happen there because I'm not really that good at nailing modes and stuff like that, for those of you who are musicians here. But it definitely sounds Phrygian because it has that kind of Celtic vibe to it. But there's a couple notes in there that I think step out of it, so that's why I was like, oh, what's going on there? But I think Ekton, you mentioned that, yeah? I'm not going back on my thingies, but here we go.
Then your body will be mine. Why won't you die? Your blood in mine.
Can you hear the bells? Even the bells are back there. Listen.
Will be fine. Then your body will be mine.
Oh, this drummer. Yes, the bells. Oh my God, did you hear that on the hi-hat? That was sick. Who is this drummer? Frick, I guess somebody find out for me. Who is this drummer? I got to go back and listen to that. Listen to what he does on the hi-hat, on the fade on this. There's one of them. Fuck, that was sick. Oh, God, that guy killed for me. You know, without a doubt, guys, I am going to say this. I will flat out say this. I am definitely putting this on super high rotation, and then I'll look up the lyrics too. Ornai, thank you so freaking much for that. This was such a great listen for me. I don't know why it's hitting me in a specific way, but yeah, you know what, Enigma, you're right. There is that part that carries the melody. This also goes into what I had said earlier about that whole bit I did on the, the Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, Fontana thing, was the assignment of what is the melody in a song. I think there's that misconception, or not, come at me in the comments if whatever your thoughts are on it, but there's that misconception that the melody has to be performed by the lead instrument, be it vocal or a guitar or something like that. For a lot of us, and I'm going to go out on a limb, there's probably a lot of things about our favorite songs that we love that might have a little less to do with the melody that the individual or the guitar or the musician is playing as much as something in the background that's hooking us in. Something else is bringing us into that secondary hook. I call that a secondary hook, or sometimes a thirgendary, if there's three of them in there. That make me it pulls me in. And you don't have to be a heavy listener of music or a decomposer or something. It's just something magical about that. So, I'm very much with you on the bells being a very stoic part of that.